We're
Mhm.
live now.
So we're live?
We're
Yes.
live, Elijah.
Okay,
Take.
okay, that's fine. We'll cut that in post. So everybody, my name is Elijah Gizzarelli. I'm a founding coach here at Dancing Dragons, and I am very pleased to present to you the first episode of Dancing Dragons Live. Dancing Dragons Live, oh, Rona got it, Rona got it. Dancing Dragons Live is going to be a weekly live show that Dancing Dragons Coaching Collective puts on, where real people can get real advice from real coaches and actually make life coaching less abstract and more concrete. And we're going to keep this conversation going week after week. And so more people will be able to get in touch with life coaches. We'll make life coaching more accessible to people because eventually you'll be able to call in, super chats, and whatnot. This is obviously the first episode. So those features will not be available, but moving forward, they will be. So that's what we're doing. You can go to dancingdragons.cc. Alex, do we currently have a way to sign up for a newsletter, or should I ask that?
We really don't yet. It is coming very soon. I didn't want to pressure people to be like, sign up now, sign up now. We do have a group chat for coaches, so new coaches that join will join that group chat. But the whole marketing ploy that we have and the marketing strategies we are going to have this live stream that we're doing now, and hopefully people subscribe to this. We will have an email newsletter, and people can sign up for information about coaching that way. And in the end, we want people to find a life coach that will help them in their life journey. So that's what we do. That's what Dancing Dragons does, is life coaching as a service, right? So Elijah will probably say this again and again, is that we want to make Dancing Dragons synonymous with life coaching, just like Kleenex is synonymous with tissue paper. We want Dancing Dragons to be synonymous with life coaching. So without further ado, we've got Rona, we've got Will. They are also coaches at Dancing Dragons, keen on doing the live stream with us. Every Monday night we will live stream, and then we may expand as the show grows. So Rona, go ahead and take us away.
So I want to point out something that I think is very important. Here we are talking about life coaching, and a lot of the coaches, I call myself a slice of life coach. And this is why, because, life, first of all, as John Lennon says, life happens when you're planning other things, or I'm paraphrasing. And, as I really specialize in executive coaching, leadership coaching, and I come to it with purposeful and attuned play, which is super fun and not everyone's, wheelhouse, or it's not going to appeal to everyone. So this is my slice, and if people are interested in it, awesome. And then there are others who are wellness coaches, and there's a plethora of different slices of life, and you have to come and explore and see which one works for you, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Go
Rona,
ahead, Will. Yeah, go ahead, Will.
I think we should maybe start off with a little introduction, a brief introduction of Rona and yourself, and then maybe dispel some of the common misconceptions. And yeah, to Rona's point, absolutely. We're going to be offering a number of services to a number of people with a number of backgrounds in a number of fields. And I'm very glad that you harped on it. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background, Rona.
Well, I have a very varied background. I was in corporate for many years. I was in advertising sales. I was a media rep. I actually started out as a sales assistant and worked my way up to VP of sales for a cable rep firm in the Midwest. I then left because it wasn't quite Mad Men, but I was judged a lot on the fact that I'm a woman and I clean up fairly well. And I said, well, if I'm going to be judged, I might as well do it for, make money on it for being who I am authentically. And I went into consulting, actually, and that's how I built Playful Mind Project. And then from there, I basically had managers and leadership come to me and say, I'm not connecting with my people. They're not getting me, I'm not getting them. And so I expanded into coaching, and they really resonated with my style, with my personality, with my wackiness. And the one thing that I always tell people is that do not let the wackiness belie the intelligence. There's a lot going on beneath this curly head.
One of
Yep.
the favorite things of Elijah and myself is it is no measure of sanity to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick world. So I think being
Exactly.
really different is a badge of honor. Yeah. So thank you for that, Rhoda. And then
Yeah.
Alex, I mean, you're the brainchild behind all of this. Why don't you give people a little bit of overview before we talk about some of the misconceptions?
Yeah, it all started in 1984. I was born in California. Grew up in Silicon
Maybe a
Valley.
briefer overview. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm going as fast as I can. So
I'm kidding.
yeah, so it you know, I did a couple startups, but this one was in the back of my mind for 5 years or more. And finally, after the pandemic, after a failed startup in 2024, a company called Vibe IRL that no one will have heard of, but it was a social network, a very different one. That one didn't quite take off, so took a break, worked a regular job, and then I realized one day, okay, let's do this coaching thing that I've had this idea for years. Everything kind of clicked. The name, the brand kind of came together. The business model came together. Elijah came in, eventually Will, and a host of others, including Rona now. And so I'm a software engineer by trade. Always, one of the motivations to code is to build a business. Most businesses are IT driven these days. So learning, knowing how to code has been important, and it's been one of my motivations. But I wanted to make a business that wasn't that was going to make the world a better place. A lot of companies don't really do that, so we wanted to do that. And I like the community aspect and helping people. And I wanted to coach in my 20s. I still could benefit from a coach. So it's like I had that need, I had that want, and I had a hard time finding one. I think I probably went on Craigslist trying to find a life coach. Probably found something else on Craigslist, right? Back 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like that was the world we inhabited 15 years ago. Now on Facebook and TikTok, you might find a life coach much more easily. But it's still hard to find, right? So we want to provide this scaled out service where, just like when you go think about therapy, you think BetterHelp immediately. It's unavoidable. We want to be when you're like, okay, I need a life coach now. This is the moment I need one. You're going to think of Dancing Dragons because you know our brand. You trust that we can provide you with the best possible coach in the world. So my backstory is complicated, but we can leave it at that for now. I'm the CEO founder. I've known Elijah for a while. Elijah's known Will. We all connected, and like-minded people tend to group together. We're all like-minded in terms of we like life coaching as a practice. Many of us in the founding team have life coaching experience. They have a founding team of more than 100 now that are going to be the first coaches at the company. But we have a C-suite. We are recruiting leadership, so I'll throw everyone a bone and say, if you're watching this and you like the vibe, you think that this company has got a good trajectory, that we have opportunity, and we can make this company a long-term thing. We do have C-suite openings, marketing. Elijah CMO, but we need marketing director, advertising director, marketing director. Those are big. Marketing is the biggest challenge, and we have a bunch of other openings too. So just tune in, get involved, and we will find you a leadership position potentially. It's a possibility. So,
and I think the fun thing about marketing with Dancing Dragons is it's kind of like a double whammy for our company, because it's not just like any other company where we need to market ourselves. It's also the product we sell is marketing, really. If you think about it, like our coaches join the network so that we'll bring them clients, and we do that through marketing. So it's really at the heart and soul. So I am extremely proud and humbled to have been given the Chief Marketing Officer position.
Wait, Alex, I mean, you're talking about, even some of the coaches and people like yourself, I think we can always use coaching. That always helps. But To your point, some of the people that, that we've interviewed, I'm like, oh my God, I need to sign up for this guy's class and this guy's class.
We have a very attract. I mean, it's attractive in the true sense of attraction. You meet people like you're a very interesting person. I like your energy. Something about this is different, special. So, I don't. Elijah and everyone that's run the interviews when we recruited coaches, very impressed by the personnel. We don't know how we found them. I mean, we know how we found them, but we don't know how they came to Earth in 2025. But we were able to connect with them mostly in January of 2025, and maybe there's a lot of talented people in the space that have a lot to give, a lot of knowledge to impart, and so we've definitely recruited some really top-notch people, and we can only imagine there's more people that can join us. We want to make a relatively exclusive club, right? We want Dancing Dragons to be top-notch, exclusive, but also be inviting. It's a balance. So,
an inviting boutique.
Yes, exactly. It's a walled garden or something.
Yes,
whatever that means.
But before everybody gets way too excited at home, because Alex, you're doing such a good job selling the organization. We actually haven't gone live accepting clients yet, right? So it is coming, right? But and it's going to be in the next month or so. I don't know exactly what the timeline is. There's some back end tech development stuff.
Software timeline is hard to predict, but yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's
That being said, I would recommend you still get in touch to see where we are, keep up with it, and start having conversations with us, so that we can let you know, and to do a little prelude, even start thinking about who you might match with.
Absolutely, Rona. That's a great point. People can check out our links in the description right now. We suggest that you do so. And kids that are out there watching, this is new. This cutting edge. This hasn't even come out yet. So get on the train and be the first that you can. So now that the introductions have been done, let's get into some of our bulletin points, some of the themes that we want to talk about today. And I'll let Elijah start us off, and then Rona, maybe if you can chime in with your thoughts afterwards. But let's talk about, let's overcome some of those common misconceptions about life coaching. Elijah, if you could start us off with that, please.
Yeah, so I really think that this is where Dancing Dragons sees its big opportunity in the market, right? So usually when you're starting a new company, you look for like a market need, all right? You look for something that like the market wants, so that you provide it to the market, right? And especially with this show, we have the opportunity of not just seizing the market need, because I do believe that there is a growing demand for life coaching out there, but we have a chance of increasing that demand just by having this show, right? So there's a lot of weird misconceptions about coaching out there. If you just like type life coaching into YouTube, you get some weird videos. You get some life coaches that are trying to market themselves, and they come off a little strange, right? For most people. You got a lot of videos that are about how life coaching is a scam and you should just do therapy and all this other stuff. And so I really want to put a lot of these misconceptions to bed. First off, a lot of people think that life coaching is for like either people that have like mental health issues, or they're just kind of like, they're like losers. They can't do anything for themselves, that kind of thing. And it's like one, therapy, psychiatry, these types of things, that's for people with mental health issues, right? Now, there's wellness coaching. That's an umbrella. I think Rona might have mentioned it earlier. There's wellness coaching for like smaller things, to just like, it's more like mental health, everyday kind of mentality stuff, right? But if you have like some sort of diagnosed disorder, that's not a life coach. That doesn't fall under the life coaching umbrella, right? Life coaching can be for everybody. So, for instance, like when people think of life coaching, I think a lot of people see it as something that like, oh, well, you can't do it yourself, so you need to get advice from somebody. And it's like, that's just not the case. So there's tons of highly successful people that have relied on life coaching. So for instance, Tom Brady has spoken about his life coach, Greg Harden. He's known him his entire career, and even before then. He says that he's the most influential person in his life. Like, that's Tom Brady. A lot of people say he's the greatest of all time. I wouldn't say that. We can have that argument offline. Boo. But I mean, he is inarguably one of the most successful people in sports history. He has relied heavily on his life coach, right? LeBron James has a personal trainer. I don't know if you've ever seen LeBron James without his shirt. But he clearly knows what he's doing in the gym. So why does he still have a personal trainer, right? You think that the personal trainer is going to be like, oh, you know what, you should do this exercise. And LeBron James is like, oh, I never heard of that one before. It's not about necessarily getting knowledge that you don't already have. It's about accountability and making sure that you're meeting your goals and having somebody else to bounce ideas off of. Sometimes you're too emotional to see something that's very obvious and they can just point out something that's very obvious to them because they're not so emotionally involved in your own problems. These are the types of things that people are able to capitalize on with life coaches of all sorts. Again, coaching can be anything. It can be anything from spiritual coaching, doing numerology, to executive coaching, to relationships. There's so many different disciplines of life coaching. So, and just a couple more people that have relied on life coaching. Oprah has openly talked about how she relies on her life coaches. Bill Gates has talked about how he was relied on his life coaches. And Tony Robbins, who is like the life coach to the world, I guess, he even relies on his life coach. So the idea that that you have to be like down and out or incapable or incompetent to need a life coach is just complete farce.
Yeah, Elijah, that's absolutely true. And one of the seminal books for anybody that gets into personal development is Think and Grow Rich. And it says you need to get yourself a mentor, right? And so that's what we're offering here. And Rona, yeah, I'm curious, what's your take on what Elijah just said, and if you can expand upon that?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of fear behind the word life coach. Words are important. And I've heard more than one person say, I'm living my life. I don't need somebody to tell me how to do it. It's not that at all. We guide people. I'm looking at my, as you were speaking, I was writing down all these notes. We all have unconscious bias because of how we grew up and our circumstances. And what we as coaches do is we ask the questions to bring those issues out. And issues is a strong word, but their circumstances, those things that you don't even realize are affecting your decisions and your fear. So, it's like self-help isn't self. It's, if you're reading a book on self-help, someone else wrote it. So, in a sense, you are doing self-help. I'm just helping you get there by pointing out things and asking you questions. So, okay, so if you think this, then what would happen if this happened? Or how do you look at this? And then there's those aha moments that will get you to where you want to go, or stop you from where you don't want to go. So it's just getting people to that introspective point of realization and helping them on their path to being better.
Thank you. I literally got kicked out, and you literally came to your conclusion right when I'm sorry I missed it. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
You're gonna have to. I was brilliant. Just ask me, I'll tell you.
Yes,
I'm sure all the commenters are saying that. Also, Alex, what's your take on that, brother?
Yeah, I actually have a point that I'm proud to make. This is my personal philosophy. It's completely my own. I'm sure a dead philosopher expounded on the same thing, but there's two things. One, it's like the nature of conversation, and actually the act of talking. So I have an uncle, like he's a relative. He prays a lot, like out loud. So it's the act of talking. There's something about the echo and the act of talking out loud that causes us to think. It engages the body and the mind, right? But also, it's not just talking, but having someone to talk to. So conversation itself, it's like, in my mind, it's almost like talking is the answer. It's not like the response matters. It's the act of conversation. So in a modern world where the internet is so pervasive, and every modern, like, industrialized society, the internet is a dominant force. People are more isolated and atomized is the word. isolated. So they're not as social, right? We have fewer social bonds as humans. And so having someone to talk to is more and more important. And the idea that conversation and talking itself is a solution, regardless of the answer, talking itself is a solution. I think that's a powerful concept. So we want to be, this company is science-based. It's evidence-based, I guess. We have evidence-based solutions to problems, but in my mind, a lot of the problem is solved simply by conversation. And as an engineer, that's actually very true. You'll talk to anybody, any problem solver. Sometimes the solution, you can't find it. And you're like, I'm going to go explain the problem to my friend. And as soon as he comes over, by the time you bring your friend over, you've come to the answer because you started the conversation going with that connection, that person you have. So having a partner in life, a sidekick, a mentor, an advisor, a coach, these are important things in life. You can't do life alone. It just doesn't work so well. You have to have someone, otherwise just kicking things in your own skull around is not enough. You have to actually talk out loud, which is what we're doing now. The act of talking is, to me, part of the solution and a huge part of the solution. Yeah. So that's my
everybody wants to be heard.
Yeah, it's my personal thoughts. But
yeah, and that's really what you're doing here, Alex, is you're allowing these people to connect with that. That's the way that people are able to grow, is with this mentorship like you're talking about, and that's really our job to connect them. So let's talk about who can benefit from our services too, because as we kind of alluded to earlier, it's not just maybe an executive or someone that needs spiritual leadership.
Yeah, I think just playing off of what Alex was just saying, like to quote Bob Dylan, times they are changing, right? And we do have a different world right now. And if you think about it, like there's a growing need. Like perhaps the reason why life coaching is becoming a thing is because it is the market is reacting to the demand for life coaching. Think about it, like. For better or worse, we have less strong familial ties. Families are getting smaller, they're getting more dispersed. People are living farther and farther away as travel has become easier and communication has become easier with technology. And then if you even look at religiosity is going way down. So a lot more people used to go to church, right? And so you'd go to church and you could talk to a deacon or a priest, or I guess I'm showing my Catholicism there, but whatever else, the reverend or nuns and rabbis, so like, but you could look to your religious leaders and the clergy and you could use them as sort of like a coach. They acted as life coaches. If you had a problem, you could talk to them, right? And so at the moment, like people just have fewer and fewer sounding boards. And not to call you out too much, Will, you had said people need mentors. I think that coaching goes far beyond just mentorship, right? Like you can have a mentor coach, but it also I don't think that Tom Brady looks at his life coach as a mentor, right? It's a sounding board. It's somebody that he trusts, that he can bounce ideas off of. I was a big fan of the show House MD, where it's about like a doctor who's like a jerk, and he was in diagnostics and he was like a super genius and he had like a team and they would try to diagnose people. It was like CSI, but with medicine every week, right? And so a lot of times in shows, he'd be cut off from his team. There's one episode where he's on an airplane and he just starts pointing to kids. And he's like, everything I say, you say the opposite. And he's trying to get them to act like his team because they're not doctors. They don't know anything, but he's just he just needs the sounding board, right? And I think a lot of people need those sounding boards because a lot of times when you say something, when you say a thought out loud, you hear it and then you go, oh yeah, that is kind of dumb, right? Oh wait, maybe I am overreacting, and just having that person that you can talk to that you're not going to be embarrassed or whatever is just such a powerful tool in your kit. And that's why I think life coaching is becoming so much more prominent than it has in the past.
Yeah, and even on top of that, to push back, but also double down and agree with you at the same time, it's more than just having a sounding board. These are people that we've been interviewing who are at the top of their field, right? I mean, these people are like the pinnacle of what they do. So not only are you getting a sounding board, but you're getting a technical expert in that field that you're looking for. So, I mean, that's really like a cheat code. But yeah,
No doubt. And I didn't mean to suggest that it can't be a mentor. Of course it can. I'm just saying that coaching can take on many different faces. And I think that depending on the kind of person it is, the types of approaches for coaching can change drastically in the kind of coach that they need. Maybe somebody needs a mentor. Maybe somebody isn't going to respect somebody who thinks that they're their mentor. Maybe they need somebody who's more like a peer, right, to be a life coach. So,
well, that's why we have such a large
Yeah.
choice. We have over 100 people already, and so that covers a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and that goes into who's our audience, who do we serve best. We don't want to say we can serve everybody because not everyone needs a life coach. But we do think that a lot of people can benefit from it. We have 5 areas that we think are the most in need: dating and relationships, executive coaching for professionals, including leadership coaching, fitness and nutrition and health, wellness coaching, which is we think it's like a life coaching version of therapy. I call it therapy light. I hope nobody's offended by that. I think everyone knows exactly what I mean when I say wellness. Wellness coaching is therapy light. There's a lot of reasons that's true. I don't think anyone's offended by that.
There might be legal ramifications to that description. I'm not sure.
Maybe well-being. Yes.
Right. Exactly. As a caveat, the company is very aware that we cannot market ourselves as a therapy or psychology company. So, right. With that caveat said, and then the 5th category is life coaching itself, which is ICF certified. ICF is the International Coaching Federation. International governing body that has a regulatory power to provide evidence that people are prepared to do the job of life coaching and that they're qualified. So we have many ICF certified coaches on staff, and then other domains as well in the wellness field and executive coaching. Most of our executive coaches are either MBAs or some PhDs in business, or just battle tested individuals who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who've done a couple companies, been CEO.
Battle tested.
Exactly. Yeah, you're battle tested. Good life experience is always good here. So I have something quick to say. We can talk more about our audience and our future audience. I wanted to tip my hat, so to speak, to AI. The company is using it just like everyone is. But our coaching has a very human touch. We're not using AI for coaching. It's you and the coach, right? And but we use it to kind of do everything in the company. A lot of entrepreneurs doing the same thing. So here's some kind of cliff notes about life coaching that I think are really important to, to illustrate and to emphasize. So it's not therapy. Therapy is a lot of times remedial. It's past focus, right? So the problem with therapy is that even though it's less taboo in 2025, therapy is still therapy. What it is remedial, and a lot of it's dwelling on the past. So coaching is about the future. So coaching is future focused. It's about goal setting. It's about fixing issues going forward, planning, and not dwelling on the past and problems that are oftentimes unsolvable because you can't fix what happened in last year or the year before, or 20 years ago. It happened. So the life coaching is much more future focused, and therapy is more past focused, right? So coaching is highly personalized. So we have hundreds of coaches that can serve clients, right? So you will find a coach that really is a deep match. There's a matching algorithm like a dating app. So I like to compare Dancing Dragons. It's like dating for coaches. So the platform matches you with a coach based off a deep matching system. So it's going to match you on your preferences and the coach's preferences. Believe it or not, the coaches have preferences for clients, and the clients have preferences for coaches, and they match in the middle. And so you will match with a coach that really meets your needs. And you'll be able to find on multiple search criteria, basically, and we will do a little bit of magic for you. There's a little bit of magic in the system that helps you meet the person that you want to meet to help you over whatever hurdle you're trying to jump over. So coaching is very personalized, Dancing Dragons. You'll find someone who's a magic fit for you. We do science. Like this is, we're not medical professionals. We don't practice medical stuff yet. This is strictly life coaching, which means we give advice that's not medically regulated, right? So we don't do therapy or psychology yet. We may in the future, right? But we are scientifically informed. That means we'll talk about neuroscience or psychology or pop psychology or philosophy or things that have to do with any applied science, right? So we're trying to make your life better with a data driven approach or a evidence based approach. So we want to make a difference, and we want the differences to be measurable, right? We want people to wake up a month or 2 months after they start coaching and feel measurably better about their lives. They say, I love, it's going around the internet, but they say like success is when you wake up in the morning and you're actually happy. Most days I wake up and I'm stressed out. I got a lot of crap to do. I got to worry about 100 things. And so it's like not bad to have a lot of things to do, but it's like some days are better than others. And I measure a successful year. Some years are better than others. And I would say that's a very true statement, that if you can wake up in the morning and feel, happy before the coffee kicks in, then you're probably doing well. So
Well, see, that's the benefit of being from the hood. We always just say like, "Hey, man, another day out of jail and above ground, I'm good." Like that's all I need.
True. It's true. There is some truth to that. I'll finish my list. I'm almost done, and I'll yield the floor. No, it's okay. Will, you can take Will or Elijah or Rona take over when I'm done here. So the coach is not a guru per se. The coach is a mirror, right? So the coach is going to help you move forward, but they're a guide. They don't have all the answers. A lot of the time, the answer is the question, right? So posing the question is the answer, which goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's a conversation. Conversation oftentimes starts with the question. It's the questions, not the answers, sometimes that are more important. So the coach isn't necessarily a guru, but they are a mentor. They're a mirror. They're a guide. They're an advisor. They're someone to help you along your journey and get you. They're someone who's probably seen the same problems you've seen before. Maybe they're 5 years older, 10 years older, 20 years older. They've been in your shoes before in that exact place, and they can guide you given their life experience. I think that's one of the best scenarios, is that exact scenario. So the questions are everything. The answers are important too. It is a global growing profession, coaching. So you're going to be coaches are a part of a growing industry. And so it's a good place to be professionally, and we're offering services to people. Hopefully the demand is increasing as well. A lot of tools of the trade. We can get into that. Coaching can be deeply transformative. So I yield the floor to whoever wants to take over. I'm done with my spiel.
Yeah, no, actually you segued perfectly into our next bulletin point. So that was very masterful of you. And
yes.
The way I personally look at a life coach is somebody that's an expert advisor, somebody that you're paying and has been through it, like you said, and has that expertise and has the credentials. And you're paying to have that person guide you. So that's the way I look at it. But let's talk about, what are the benefits? We talked about who can benefit, but what are the benefits of life coaching? Because there's a number of different people that can benefit in a number of different fields. Rona, do you want to start us off with this one, please?
Well, I think, in terms of leadership and executive coaching, which is what I do primarily, I think it's, giving, especially with women, a lot of women execs suffer from imposter syndrome, as opposed to the opposite, which is called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is I've taken one class, now I know everything, and it does even out eventually. So it's important to be able to allow my clients to blossom and to realize, and by bringing it out from them and allowing them to figure it out in a certain way. And I use purposeful and attuned play. So because people learn better when they're in a better mood, and the games and activities that we do definitely have a purpose, and then they get the aha moments, and they're so happy, and they have more confidence in a low stakes environment that they can bring those skills to the next level when it counts. And everybody has their different ways of doing it. So it's I just forgot the point.
No, you were on to
Who
something.
can benefit? Who can benefit?
Following
Yeah.
your logic.
So thank you. So anyone who wants to come in and just learn to believe in themselves better. It's, I don't want a client forever. I want a client to come in and be able to discover who they are and how fantastic they are, and take that confidence and fly the coop. And that to me shows me that I am doing my job as a coach. And they still may want to check in once a month or so, which is great. I mean, I have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
when I'm in the middle, I will call him and say, hey, can we talk about this, because I'm not sure. And I talk it out with him, and he's fabulous. And then I go on my very well. I say that again.
Mary Way.
Thank you.
I got you. Yeah, no, very well stated.
I think everybody can benefit from having a sounding board in one way or another. I'm done.
No, that's perfect. I had something to tack on, but I forgot what it was. But I Will or Elijah, go for it.
Elijah,
I'll remember.
Let's let Elijah give it a go until you can recall.
Yeah, I'll think of what I was saying. Yeah.
So, look, who can benefit from life coaching? I mean, I don't want to say everybody needs a life coach. I don't believe everybody needs one, but I think almost everybody can benefit from one. The right one, at least, right? I think with a lot of things, I think even if you go to therapy or you can get the wrong therapist for you. I think that's probably happens more times than not. So people go to therapy and then they'll be like, oh, I hate therapy. It's like, okay, like maybe that's just not the right therapist for you, because everybody has different styles, and everybody has different niches, different ways of communicating, right? So I actually like to pride myself on being able to communicate with a very wide range of people, right? Outside of the fact that, I speak French. I used to speak Arabic, don't really anymore. I got to flex a little bit, but like outside of that, and that was really like part of the reason why I wanted to learn these languages was because I wanted to be able to communicate with as many people as possible. In fact, I started to learn German. And then when I was stationed in Germany in the army, I found out that all German people spoke English. So I was like, why am I learning German? It doesn't make any sense, right? And so I abandoned that, even though I love the language. I used to be able to sing 99 Schlaf Balloons in German, like the whole way through. But I can't do that anymore. Sorry. There will be no performances tonight.
Next week, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the reason why I've studied communication is because I want to be able to meet people where they are, and I want to be able to not just have them hear me. I want them to hear me, And so I really grew a passion into this with politics, and then I specifically took on a job doing door-to-door sales, because I said well, what is politics outside of selling ideas to people, right? So I did door-to-door sales for 3 years. The company I worked with, you'd be lucky if you lasted 3 weeks. There were very few people that lasted 3 weeks, I promise you. I did it for 3 years, right? But the point is that I've always had this kind of yearning to kind of communicate to different people. And I think that if you find a coach that can communicate the way that you receive information, it will just do wonders for you. And I think that applies to every single person, regardless if you're, just some Joe Schmo that works at a CVS, or if you're Oprah Winfrey or Bill Gates or Tony Robbins or somebody like that.
That's true. I have something to tack on, but Will, go for it if you're ready.
I was going to throw it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Will. Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Obviously, I always remember 3 seconds later. I just have to relax, think about something else. So it's a good way to cap the conversation. Actually, we're going to have a coaching for coaches program. So it's kind of a almost like a self-referential thing, but coaches need coaching. Rona said she has a coach herself. So it's like, who needs coaching? It's actually coaches need coaching. It's almost like everyone can benefit a little bit. It's a matter of just, do you have time in your calendar to fit it in? It's probably worthwhile. So this is more almost like an internal memo, but we will have a coaching academy at Dancing Dragons. We've got all the plans for that in the works, and part of it is going to be, seminars for coaches to coach other coaches. So coaches themselves can benefit from it. It helps them do their job better. Everyone needs a mirror, right, to understand themselves. Sometimes other people understand you better than you understand yourself. It's a weird phenomenon, but it's true, right? It's, if you want to understand yourself, ask someone what they really think, and honesty and trust is a big part of that. A lot of times, the people closest to you actually have a stake in lying to you because they can't tell you the truth because it would hurt the relationship or at least jeopardize it. So that's another reason why coaching is important. It's like you've got a neutral third party. It's not exactly neutral, but more neutral sometimes than a family member or close friend where you don't want to jeopardize a relationship or et cetera. You guys get the idea. And so a coach can be exceptionally honest with you, which is important to really know yourself and get the breakthroughs that you haven't gotten in the past because you've never had someone in your corner, in boxing terms, that has your back, that really knows you and has paid attention to you for a long time, and can be really honest with you, because it's tough to be honest with someone. And regardless, any relationship on earth between humans, it's very difficult, almost never 100% honest, but that honest observation and feedback is rare in life. When you have it, you kind of know you have a true friend. Even coaches need coaches. Even coaches need coaches. That's English, right? So that's how I'll cap the convo. We can, everyone needs a coach, including coaches. So this is the second episode, not the first. This is the second one, but this is a show that we are planning to do at least once a week, Monday nights, 8:30 Eastern, Dancing Dragons Live. Elijah is our MC. So Elijah runs the show. He's the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer of the company. Rona recently is CXO, so the Chief Experience Officer. And will get you a C-suite job. Just I think you might be on the list somewhere. It's a big org chart at this point. So I can't even remember. VP of something. But we do need leadership at the company. We have a lot of people who want to coach. Like a lot of coaches, I don't want to be in the C-suite. I want to coach. That's what I like to do, and can't blame them. So not everyone wants to be in leadership, but we do have a lot of people that do want to take on leadership positions at the company. It's a pretty standard company, right? We have marketing, we have engineering, we have a little bit of sales, social media management, video production, advertising, making ads, a lot of other, admin jobs. We have HR, standard HR department in process of Anthony and Jason are there. So, it's a company that needs leadership. So we have a lot of good people already. We're not desperate for C-suite people, but if you like what you see, please drop us a line in the leadership department. And Elijah, if you want to, Elijah or Will, you can close this out.
I'll wrap this up. I want to say thank you very much, first of all, Alex, for creating this idea. Elijah presented it to me, and Elijah used to be the number one smartest person I met. He's probably like 4 or 5 right now. So when I was like, okay, and then you know what, Alex, I started listening, I started joining the meetings, and I was like, Alex got a really good head on his shoulders. And then you made a couple of decisions, which maybe we could talk about off stream. But I was like, wow, I'm very impressed about that. So thank you for just putting this together, because I do think it's a vital thing that people need. And thank you, Rona, for helping us and being a vital part of us just going forward. You're fairly new, but you're there. Elijah's like the brains behind the thing. But let's sum it up like this. If you get yourself in trouble, either medically, you're going to want to find yourself a doctor. If you get yourself in trouble with the law, you're going to find a lawyer. This is your life. And if you can have a technical expert help guide you through these things, I mean, why wouldn't you invest a little bit of money in it? You only have one life. And then again, next Monday, we're going to be live as well. So please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications, and then find our website and all of our other links in our description right here in the box, and get this out. So we want to see double the number of people here next week. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and visit our website. And yeah, thank you guys for joining, and everybody out there for watching. And the best way that you guys can help us out is by sharing this content. So thank you guys.
All right. Over and out.
So, and just a quick word in response there. So Will used to introduce me as the smartest guy he knows. And then like every time we get into a disagreement, he drops that number down. At one point I was 26. I just jumped back up to 4. So I'm super excited.
We're live. We're live. Jump back up into 20.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Anyway, so just to sign off, remember to be excellent to each other, everybody. Peace out.
Always be excellent to each other. Over and out. See you guys next week. Thanks.
Ciao.
Yeah.
All right.